Good evening, everyone. Hi, Agnes. Hi, Gloria. Hi, Innocent. Hi, Safi. Hi, Simon. How you guys doing? Simon, do you want to say something? So you're on mute. How are you today? All right. Gloria says she's doing great. So is Agnes. And we are lucky to have Faith again. Hey, good evening. All right. Welcome, everyone. So today we're not going to take very long. Hey, no problem. We're lucky to have you on the call. Yeah, music is life. So no need to apologize for that. Right. So okay, so I just first of all want to give a shout out to Safi, because she was the one on the call. And then I think it was Agnes, if not Gloria. Yeah. So yeah, shout out to you guys. You're the best. So with that out of the way, let me give you guys a link that we're going to be using as we wait as an excuse, just to keep us busy as we wait for others to join, so that we can have today's presentation. We go through the slides and then we'll build something small together. And yeah, so this is the link. Look in the chat. Let me share my screen and I'll show you. But I want to hear at least from someone who can unmute and tell us how they're doing before we start, as others are checking out the link. Just unmute and tell us. Anyone? Come on, don't be shy. All right. Give me a sec. I'm trying to find the right screen. Cool. So this is the screen that we're going to be using. Okay, so yeah, so can you guys see the screen where we have the game open? It's called Flexbox Froggy. People on the call, I need to hear from you guys. Can you see my screen? All right. Cool. So today is going to be, an easy day. And for the first few minutes, as we wait for other people to join the call, we're going to be going through this game. And everyone is going to take a time, right? We're going to be going through this together, and everyone is going to take a turn. It's a small game, depending on, excuse me, depending on how fast we go. You might be able to finish it. You might not be able to. You might do half of it. We might be able to do like a quarter of it, but at least it will help us maybe get a better understanding of Flexbox and just gamify the experience. All right, so I need people on the call to count from one, going up, so that we can take turns, right? And as we on, I need everyone who has a laptop right now to write a number in the chat. Okay, so let me go. Let me use my. Let's go by alphabet. Okay, so alphabet first name. Okay, so we start with maybe Agnes and then Anne. Agnes, you can start with 1. Agnes, are you on the call? Mic check, Agnes.
1.
All right, so can you type it in the chat? It will be easier to remember the numbers. Okay, so maybe let me write 0. So I'm 0. So Agnes is going to be number 1. And then Anne-Marie is going to be number 2. So Anne-Marie can write 2. And then let's even include Befe. Be, you can write 3 in the chat. We'll see how we use those. And then we have Gloria. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. All right, we have G. Gloria, you are number 4. All right. Oh, we even have Dorian. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. All right. No problem. Okay. So Dorian can be 5. No problem. No pressure. Dorian can be 5. All right. The door. The door is 0. I'm 0. I'm just maybe an exception this time. Right. Because I'm just going to do number 1, level 1. And it's just going to, we're just going to go through this together. So I'm an exception. Number 0. I make the rules, Faith. So don't worry. Okay. So we have Dory number 5. And then we have Innocent. Yeah. We have Innocent number 6. Innocent, type in the chat, write number 6, unless if you don't have the laptop, then even if you have a phone, it's easy. You will use someone else's screen. All right. So who's number 7? Safi or Simon? It's going to be Safi. All right. Simon is going to be number 8. Simon, if you can type in the chat, number 8. Simon, are you on the call? All right. I think Simon is not on the call, or maybe is away for a bit. So yeah, so we're going to go. All right. So we're going to go through this game. Let me hide this, and we're going to go through this game. You remember last week we learned about UI, UX. No, we learned about CSS specifically. So how that's the way we give style to our HTML. But today we have this guy, Flexbox. This is the technology we use to write layouts in the modern days, right? So Flexbox is one, CSS Grid is another one, but for the sake of time, we're only going to be focusing on Flexbox so that we can at least master it, so that we can maybe start to go into CSS Grid, right? Because it's covered by many versions of different browsers, and it's just nice to get to know it before maybe you can move to CSS Grid. So you need to master one instead of just learning both just for the sake of it and not understanding any of them. Okay, so for this time, for this crash course, 3 weeks, we're going to be focusing on Flexbox. Maybe after that, today I'll be giving you resources that you can use to even learn CSS Grid. Okay, so without waiting for anyone else, we're going to be starting right now. And this game is actually, an experience to gamify the experience of learning or, remembering how Flexbox works. Okay. If anyone is on the call and they don't have any idea of what Flexbox is, please let us know before we start, because it would be sad to know that there's someone who did not hear what Flexbox is last time, or who did not attend last time and they don't know what we're talking about. So silence means there's no one, and we're going to start. All right, cool. Okay, so basically this is called Flexbox Froggy, and this is a game where we learn Flexbox, and we're going to be taking this frog and putting it on this leaf. Okay, so this green leaf right here. Okay, so this blue area is a pond, right? So consider this a pond, so, or like a river, and then this is a leaf where the frog can, jump on and, just maybe like get some sun or something. Okay, so what we're going to be doing is to use Flexbox to move this frog on this leaf. Okay, so it's maybe moving it all the way to the right. Okay, so by doing that, we're learning how to take these elements. Okay, take elements, elements being this frog, and putting it in a specific place on the screen. So this pond is the screen, and then this leaf is, the position that we want to position our element, which is going to be the frog, right? I hope that we are together on this. Okay, so the numbers we took, we're going to use these numbers to take turns playing the game, right? It doesn't matter if you know Flexbox, if you have mastered it, you're going to try to play the level, and then we're going to move based on that, okay? And then maybe we'll take like 30 minutes. If you feel like, it's getting tiring, then you can stop and go to the slides and, write some CSS. We're going to build something very small. Let me see if I can find it. No, I'll show you later. But it's okay. Let me find it on front end mentor. Front end mentor challenges. It's called. By the way, this is a website that we can, where we can get some, really cool designs that we can design, we can implement using CSS and HTML and a little bit of JavaScript. So if you are looking for a challenge, we can do exactly that, right? So this is basically what we're going to be building. So we're going to build this page and, this is what we're going to be building at the end of the day. So we won't be doing like responsiveness at this time, but this is what we'll build. Okay, so build a button and the columns and everything. But it will depend on what you guys want. If you want to build something else, then you can also do that. Okay, so back to the game again. I'm going to do level 1, and then let me see in the chat, and then Agnes is going to do level 2 because she's number 1, and then on and on. So Anne will be the next. All right. So basically, what you have to do is to read this and understand it, and then write some code here, right? So if you don't know what to write, if you don't understand, you can ask and we can help you. All right. So yeah, let's go. Let's go with this. So it says, welcome to Flexbox Froggy, again, where you help Froggy and friends by writing CSS code. Guide the frog on the lily pad. The lily pad is this leaf on the right by using justify content property, which aligns items horizontally and accepts the following value. So they say justify content, is used to, align items in a flex container. And, these are all the options that we have. So we have flex start, which is here. Let me actually start to write it. So justify content. We have flex start. This is the default. This is why the frog is not moving. Okay. We have center as well. So we have center. It's going to be in the center like this. The frog, you can see the frog moving. And let's have another one. We have space between, because there are no other elements on the page or other frogs on the page, then there's nothing that you're going to see, same as space around. So, okay. So you can see that, it's maybe moving there because, there's nothing else, because we're putting space around the frog. Okay. So what we want really is to put this frog on this lily pad right here, which is going to be flex end. So you can read here flex end, the items aligned to the right side of the container. So the pond is the container, and then the frog is the element. So flex end is the best option here. So we do flex dash end, then yeah, that's our frog is on the lily pad, and we hit next, once we complete it. So that's number one, and we're going to have and share the screen. So you can also have this game open. What we write for every level, you also write that on your computer, so that when we get to your level, you have the level here, right? But you can also go through them like this, right? So it doesn't matter, but try to do it on your own as well, right? So we are on level 2. And I'm going to stop sharing the screen, and you're going to share yours, and you will show us what you have. Oh, and we have Solange in the mix as well. Solange, you are going to take a number. I know you're a TTL, but we're playing a game, a CSS game. So we have taken numbers, and we are on number 8. So you're going to take number 9. So write 9 in the chat.
Okay.
Yeah. So Solange and also Teta. Teta, you're going to take number 10. So write 10 in the chat. We're playing that game. So number 2 was Agnes, but Agnes is no longer on the call. So Anne-Marie, you are next. So Anne-Marie, you can share a screen, and you do level 2. And don't worry if you don't know, everything you're going to be writing will be helping. So this is a good chance for you to learn as well. Click on the green button that says share screen at the bottom of the screen.
Okay, I'm sorry, I have a question. Do you have to open it in the Google Chrome?
It doesn't have to be Google Chrome. It can be Firefox as well. Any browser that you're using.
Okay, can you share me the link?
Okay. This is the link. And for everyone new on the call, that's the link that we're using. We just did number 1 for level 1.
Okay.
Were you able to load the link? Did it open? Okay, she's mute. Maybe she's trying to get the game to open. We have Agnes. She's back. Agnes, can you share a screen and we do number 2 together? Mic check, Agnes. Agnes, Anne-Marie, you need to say what's up. Otherwise, we'll move to the next person, which is going to be oh, so the connection is unstable. Okay. Who's ready to do number 2? Who's ready to go? So we have Gloria. Gloria, can you share a screen?
I can do it.
Okay, Safi. All right. Safi, you can go. You can share a screen and we do number 2.
Yeah, I finished doing it. I can present on.
Oh, okay, no problem.
It's okay. Let me show my screen.
All right, so I think maybe before she continues, so anyone else who has a number, maybe what they can do is, I can give you guys a minute to work on it, and maybe you share a screen and show us what you have if you're able to complete your level. All right, so let's see what Safi has. Then we'll see who's ready to share the level that they got. All right, Safi, tell us.
Yeah, I think do you see my screen?
Yes, we can see it.
Yeah, I just read what they asked and I see that they told us to take this frog to get their right parts. So I used that content center and I see that it was my first time I do this. So I see the question. Yeah, that is how I answered that question.
Why did you choose Justify Content Center?
I started for Flex start by seeing how that frog can jump, can move, and it didn't work. And I tried.
Can you put in Flex Start instead of Center?
Okay.
Oh. All right, so this is Flex Start by default, right? Can you change Start to End? Do Flex End.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I need to see. Okay, put center back. All right.
Yeah.
Cool. So the frogs, the green and the yellow frogs are, the actual elements, and those are the positions. So the yellow frog goes to the yellow lily pad, and the green frog goes to the green lily pad. So center, because the lily pads are in the center, so we need to justify them, using center. I need to see thumbs up if you. Let's give Safi some thumbs up if you are able, if you're able to understand what she did. All right. I need to see it. I need to see if you're satisfied. If you don't give thumbs up, then you tell us why. All right. Thank you, Safi. All right. And do you agree with that?
I have a
Data,
question.
Solange. Question?
Yeah, exactly. What can justify content do? What is the meaning behind justify content for us to know when we are going to use justify content?
All right. Did you try to read challenge 2?
Yeah, I
The
did.
second level, level 2.
Level 2, yes, I'm on it.
All right. So usually we started on level 1. It was still justify content. So justify content, you can actually open this. You can look it up. Justify content in CSS. What does it do? Right. So you can do just that if you don't understand what justify content does. Okay. So it gives you all the options. So start, this is what it does. Center, this is it. Space between, space around. Visually, you can see what it does to the element. So this is what is called a flex container. So it takes everything. So for example, we have this pond, right? So this blue area is called, has the background color of pond. No, sorry, it has an ID of pond, and it has a display of flex, which makes it a flex container. So when we have, okay, let me go here. So when we have elements, which are, this green frog, and the yellow frog, these are the elements on the page, right? So by default, they are justified, by the position called flex start. Okay, so it says justify content, right? By default, it's flex start, right? Like that, right? But it means start, they're going to be here at the beginning, right? So you saw that when she changed it to flex n, they go on the right side, right? When you do center, you see that they go in the center, right? When you do space between, what do you think is going to happen?
They evenly split.
Right, there's going to be some space between them. One is going to go on the far right, and another one is going to stay on the far left, right? Like that, okay? And what do you think about space around?
Space around.
This is actually the definition. So equal spacing around them, right? So you can read the options that you have here, right? So space around, this is what's going to happen. There's going to be space around here, right? There's also even space evenly, I think, evenly, right? Like that. So those are the options I have for justify content.
Yeah, now I get it.
Now you get it?
Yeah.
All right, awesome. Cool. Any other questions before we go to number 3? And no other questions, I think. All right. Who wants to go next? Sister, can you go next?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out. Okay, let me share my screen.
All right. Yeah, we can figure it out together on number 3. So share screen. All right. Anne-Marie will go next.
Let me, okay. I'm trying to share the screen now. I hope that now you see things that I'm trying to work on. So you said that we have to, I think, I'll have to go with space between to display with equal spacing between the frogs. Okay, let me see if that works.
Teta,
Really?
Teta,
Yes.
go to level 2 first, so that we fix it, and then you can go on level 3. So do you know why there's a red line on line 3?
No.
I have a question.
Can we first answer? Can we first fix our code and then you ask the question, or is it related to this?
Yes.
All right, or you can ask.
Because when I get to the level 2, then
Mm.
I tried another one like Frex and nothing happens. Shows me like nothing happens on this. So it's a must to be to pull the right one, or you have to choose any one you want between the flex and center space between your email. How do you choose that?
No, all the options are going to be working. They're going to place the elements somewhere on the page, but you're going to visualize them, see how they work visually. So the frogs are the elements. The target position is, the lily pad corresponding to the color of the frog, right? If you have like a red frog, well, it's going to be on the red lily pad. Okay, so let's first see what she has, and then maybe you can go next. Oh, yeah, you can maybe show us and we can fix it. Okay. So line number 2.
Okay.
All right. Remind me if I forget. So line number 2, number 3. Teta, you need to format your code correctly. So after a justify content, you leave a space between that and the so you need to leave the space between the key and the value. So the key is the property, and then the value is center. Okay, so there needs to be some space. Yeah. So when you do that, you can click next, and it's going to go to the next one. Yeah. All right. Cool. Awesome. So same thing, right? So they're still saying justify content.
There is an error.
Okay. Why? So now you see that it's not giving you the options again. Now you need to be able to remember that there are different options and know them. So you learn incrementally. You don't have to click back to go to see them. So you need to be able to, learn from the previous one, so that the next one, now you're able to do anything you want to justify content. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So
thank you so much.
So space around.
Yeah, space around.
All right.
2. I think that's it. To evenly split the spaces between them.
All right.
Okay.
Cool. All right. Agnes says, how do you win all the 24 levels? By doing one by one, one after another. That's the key. All right. So thank you so much, Teta. Before we move to Anne-Marie, Doreen, can you share a screen? We can maybe try to fix the issue you have with the code.
Yes.
All right. I'm asking Doreen, because she had a question. All right. Cool. Doreen, you're muted. If you want to speak, you need to unmute your microphone. Awesome. Cool.
Okay, now we can understand. Okay. So the problem is this. Can't you see this? When I'm trying to do like Frex, justify contents, Frex ends. So I don't see anything happen. I can't do like the next. So as long as I put the right one.
But
I don't know.
You don't have the right frogs in the right colors. You need to put the green frog on top of the green lily pad, the yellow one on top of the yellow one, and then the red one as well.
Okay, I have to choose between those 2, 3, wherever the freaks and wherever the one who can
you can
be
hover.
on the.
Yeah, you can hover over justify content to see the options. You can see that we have flex start, which is the default, and then we have flex end, we have center, we have space between, space around, and space evenly. So which one do you think is going to do this, right? So you choose one and then you write it down there. When you write it, it's going to take effect. Can you try it?
And let me write like space between. I see.
Yeah.
And
right.
Okay. Sorry.
You need to spell the words correctly. All right. So that space between, you can see that the effect is, you can see the frogs moving based on the code you wrote. But it's not correct.
So you see,
it's not correct.
Not still.
Yeah. So it needs to be on the top of the lily pad. And once you have the correct one, it's going, or like once you make it right, the next button is going to be active. That's when you know you can go to the next level. Yeah.
Okay.
So, and the reason you're doing this is not guesswork. You're learning. If you think it's space between, you're going to need to be curious enough to even like Google, a quick Google search. What's the difference between, space between and maybe space around, right? What's the difference, right? So you can look that up on a website called MDN. MDN is called, info is Mozilla Developer Network, right? Okay. So MDN has everything. So you can even Google, space between, or just Flexbox MDN. It's going to get you the results. Okay.
Here, they have to be in the have to be right in the box, like not on the side, or they have to be in the box in.
Yeah. For example, try space evenly and see what will happen. It's not the right one as well, but you're going to see the changes. So you're going to need to learn what is space evenly, what does it mean, and what's the difference between space evenly and maybe space between or space around. It's evenly. It's not even. It's even and then ly. It's even and then ly. Yeah. Cool. You can see it's almost the same, but the yellow, the red frog. Yeah. So the yellow one, yes, right. But the green one and the red one, they are off. Okay. So you need to understand space around is going to put the space there, and space even is going to do something different. So you need to learn, you need to be curious and look these properties up so that you master Flexbox. Okay. Darren, are we still together? Mic check. Doreen, can you hear me? Okay, we just lost Doreen. Okay, cool. Anne-Marie, do you want to share screen and we do number 4? You wanted to go next? All right, Innocent.
Yes, please.
All right, you can share a screen and we do number 4. And we can stop maybe at number 6, so that we have enough time for the for today's topic, which is UI UX.
I'm sorry. I was doing on my side as other representing.
Okay.
I don't know how can I be more so that
The red line.
Sorry?
What do you want to remove? Say that again.
Actually, I was trying and I've done them.
Okay. So can you leave the space between the property and the value? So between justify content and space between, there needs to be some space, just like the space between display and then flex. Yeah, that's how you get the bouncing next button. Yeah, so you can click on it. Maybe before you click on it, did you try another one? Or what did you get when you tried another one?
Actually, I was trying justify content. I mean flex end, and all the Froggy were going to the end, and I tried also the flex start. It was like it also coming to the starting of this section in which they are in. Also tried space around, and they just were mixed something badly, and finally when the space between came.
All right. So as I was telling Doreen, you need to be able to to differentiate them and use the right one for the right purpose, right? Based on where you want to place the elements. Okay, and that's actually how it works. Sometimes space between or space around is not working, and then maybe the thing you need is space evenly. Okay, so just make sure that you understand what you want.
Yeah.
That's how you're going to be able to know which one to choose from.
Yes.
From the whole list. Yeah. All right. Thank you so much. We can get one more. Who does number 5? Anyone who wants to try number 5 before we move? All right, Gloria. Yeah, you can share a screen. Now check Gloria. You can click on the share screen button. It's green at the bottom. You see it?
Yes, I did, but I don't know what's wrong.
Oh, okay. Try again. So when you click on the green button, you need to choose a screen that you want to share. So obviously share the screen that has the game, and then click on the blue button that says share at the bottom of the window that opens.
Oh.
All right. Technical difficulties. All right, but were you able to get the frogs on their pads? Even if you can see, what did you write? I can share my screen and you tell us what we write. Might check. All right, we kind of just lost Gloria. Okay. All right, let's see what we can do. So level 5. Okay, so level 5 is now not, aligning them on this axis. It's aligning them up and down. It's not left to right. So now all we can do is, based on, we're going to learn align items, right? So the first 4 challenges, the first 4 levels were, all about justify content. Now we're going to go on align items, right? So to put these down here, we're going to do flex and right, they're going to go there. So that's what we need to do. And this is all, we're going to do. And then number 6, we're going to put it in the center. So we're going to use justify content so that it's in, okay, let me start with align items. Align items. We can do center so that it goes down like that. And then you can do justify content. And then you can also do center. So this is how you can center an element. So right in the center. So as you can see, I'm not guessing a lot. This is because, now I know that the lily pad is in the center. I know it is. I know where my frog is. So I need to put the frog on the lily pad. So as you keep practicing without Googling, without looking up a lot of things, you get to know, which, which properties to use and which keys to use. Among all the options that we have to align things like this. Let me try number 7, right? Maybe without cheating, right? So we have our frogs here. So I'm going to have to justify them, on this side and then align them. So let me start with aligning them, put them at the bottom. So this is going to be align items, flex end as well. They're down now. I need to space them, right? So I'm going to use justify content, right? So justify content, I'm going to do space around, right? So jackpot. So maybe you're not going to get all of them like this all the time, but most of the times you're going to know that this is space around because the space here, there's space, there's equal space around the item on the left and right, left and right, left and right, right? And then this is bigger because there's only one item here. So that's why I use space around. That's basically it. Let me stop here and you can do the rest of the levels later and you're going to learn so much more. Things like wrap, like all the properties of Flexbox that we saw, okay? All right, thanks to everyone who participated in the game. We're going to go on the next part of today's session. Thanks to Doreen, Gloria, Safi, Teta, and everyone who participated in the game. All right, cool. I hope that you keep learning and you keep playing this game. All right, so basically today we're going to be talking about UI UX. But before I go into this, do we have any quick questions before we begin? any quick questions that I can answer, then we'll start with this.
I had a question.
All right.
So,
away.
Okay, I was wondering, due to that this meeting is being recorded, is it possible for you to share what we have learned for us to view later for more explanations?
Yes, we always share the recordings in a channel called Session Recordings. We didn't share yesterday's session because I didn't share it because usually someone who presents has to share. So you're going to definitely see this. So don't worry about that. Just check it out.
So
Let me share my screen and show you the channel.
Okay.
Are you going to?
I was asking, is the channel on Discord?
Yes, it's called Session Recordings. It's this one. Yeah, it's right under Crash Course. So there's Crash Course and then Session Recordings.
Okay.
All right.
No problem. Thank you so much.
Cool. Right. Any other question before we go to the next part? In the last hour of today's session, we're going to just go quickly through the slides and we'll code something real fast. I'm going to use like 10 minutes at most. All right. Cool. I guess this is it. Let me get something to drink. You can also maybe stand up, take a minute. We're going to actually start in like 2 minutes. Okay, let's do 54. Right, so you guys, you can go, get something to drink, drink some water or something. Then in 3 minutes we start. So 6:58. Yeah, that's when we start. Cool.
ahandi kuza nta kibazo, ikibazo ni kuno kwivana.
All right, guys, we start after that song, eh?
Can I ask a question? Okay, it's okay.
Teta? Hello? Teta?
Yes.
You can only ask a question. It's okay.
So I was wondering, does this Flexbox Froggy, like if we learn these CSS things and content, can we be able to create a website, like a responsive website, which looks good?
Yeah, actually, that's the main point of learning CSS. With CSS, it's enable you to create the sports website and which look like fantastic. But it depends on how you. For example, I'm bad in mixing color, but if you know how to mix colors and with CSS you can do fantastic things. Yeah, that's the main point of CSS.
Yeah, I know that, but like for me, I've struggled to style my website. They look horrible. So I was wondering, will this Flexbox content help me to be able to do things like create a Flexbox which has like profiles with pictures and align them on a line which so as to look good?
Yeah. You yes, you have to go on the where you are doing those and after learning, like, because it's not Flexbox only, but Flexbox has like 80 like 80% of just making it good, and with other attributes with from CSS. All of this we help you. I'm sure that to help you to have your website responsive. Yeah.
All right. Thanks for that. Teta, I think I missed the question you were asking. But I heard you asking maybe will Flexbox help you to learn, help you to be able to, create the layout with, any layout that you want, right?
Yeah.
So we can actually try that. You can look for a layout online and see if you can build it instead of maybe building the one I'm going to choose. Okay, so we can do just that after the slides.
Yeah, it's
All
okay.
right. Cool. Sorry, I stopped the song and I didn't know I stopped it. I paused it to say something and I forgot to resume it, but it's okay. Yeah, maybe I'll play the song next time. Yeah. Cool. So I think everyone is back and I'm also back. So let's go through this, and Teta, don't worry, in 20 minutes you're going to be the one who chooses the layout to build. Okay, as long as it's going to be
No problem.
easy to cover in like 30 minutes and easy to talk about. Cool.
No problem.
All right. So today's topic is UI UX design, right? So this is a very delicate topic because usually people don't know the difference between UI and UX, but and they use it and they use interchangeably, which is kind of sad. But lucky for you, you're going to know the difference by the end of this. Okay, and I know some of you know already. So among the people on the call, who can tell us what they think is the difference between UI and UX? Yeah.
Can I try?
Mm-hmm.
So UI is the user interface in full words, and the user interface is the thing the users will be able to see on the website or any web application. But when it comes to the user experience, it means like the interaction between the web application and the user. How things will be able, if a user, let's say, clicks on the button, if the button will be sliding or blinking, that's the user experience, which makes the experience likable.
All right, awesome. I couldn't have said it better. So thank you so much, Tita. So the thing is, it's exactly like that. And just give me a second. And usually the difference is you know, UI is what you see, and UX, it's what you experience, right? It's how you feel after using that UI, right? That's how usually people put it. But you the experience, as it says, it's the feeling you get when you see something moving and you know that this is actually a button, right? I'm going to be clicking here. I need to click here, right? That color, what feeling does it give you, right? Is it telling me to click it? Is it telling me that it's not even a button? Do I feel like, there's so much mess on the page? Do I feel like the page is clean? And we can see examples of that, just in a little bit. Okay. And I have another game that you can, actually play after this, and it can help you to understand, good UX. Okay. So let's just go through the slides real quick, and we'll see some of these things. How do we build great user interfaces, which in turn result into great user experiences, right? All right. So the aim of this session is to, understand, the whole front-end development process. Where do we start? How do we develop the idea, of creating the user interface that we want, that is going to give the utmost experience, the full process from, A to Z, from zero to hero, right? What's that process, so that you even have an idea of what it is. And then we're going to understand like the basic design principles. We're going to talk about a few, and we're going to see that, how we can plan, our front end template, like in terms of like the pages that we're going to be building. How do you plan them? Where are we going to start? It's called the user journey usually. So when someone comes on our page, on our website or our app, where do they start? Where do they end? What do we want them to do? Do we need to find a color that's going to be more appealing, so that we can give it to our buttons, so that every action that we want them to take is going to be taken, things like that, right? And then lastly, what are the tools that we're going to be using to create these user interfaces and experiences, right? So first of all, I'm going to quickly talk about the qualities of a good front-end developer, and I'm just going to read them. And if I'm lying, then you tell me that I'm lying. Okay. So first of all, a good front-end developer needs to have empathy, because usually, at least in Rwanda, people who are, front-end developers, they're usually the ones who are working directly as the designers, right? So they design the user interfaces as well. But in bigger companies, you're going to have, graphic designers who are going to be building the pages and the logos and everything. And then you're going to be communicating with them, so that you can, have good user interface, right? So they give you the design to implement. Okay, so that's one thing. Another thing is that they're going to be, front-end developers are going to be working with the back-end developers, those people who work with the databases and logic and all that, so that we can put everything together. The design, and the data on the back end, and now it becomes one thing. This one thing, if it's an app, let's say Google's Gmail, for example. So there are people who design Gmail, there are people who build those designs, and there are people who design the databases, those things that you don't see, right? So you need to work with, you need to have empathy to be able to, empathy and flexibility, and be a good team player, and, all of that, so that you can work with all those people, and actually be able to understand, the people you work with, that's number one, but also the people that you're building the application for. Okay, so you need empathy to understand your users, and to understand what we call stakeholders, right? The stakeholders might be designers, or other developers, right? That you're not doing the same thing, obviously, like front end, right? So you need all these things. So empathy is the ability for you to be able to put yourself in their shoes, right? Be able to understand things from their perspective. That's number one. Flexibility is to be able to understand that you might even make some changes that you didn't want, just so that this person, especially the user, the end user, is happy, right? And that you also need to be a team player so that you can play in the whole ecosystem. So we have designers and backend developers that you need to deal with. Okay. And a lot more, right? You need to have a good eye for design as well, even if you're not a designer, so they can give designers some feedback, for example. And so many things that you need. Okay, so those are a few that I was able to pick. But if you have one, you can also tell us, and we're going to move to the next slide. All right. I'm going to be quick. I'm going to assume a lot that you understand everything if you're not going to answer. All right, cool. So next up, so basically, when you're here, we are already starting with, the process. How do you go about creating user interfaces, right? You have nice websites. Let me maybe find a good website and see if we can get it to. Yes, you can still see my screen, right? We have Andela.com, right? So for us to have, you guys can see my screen? I'm wondering.
Yeah, I can
All right,
see your screen.
Awesome. So we have this website. I'll always give examples, an example about this because I can't think of another website, but this is Andela.com, right? But how do you feel? Like, what do you feel when you open this? Is it inviting you to keep scrolling, to keep looking? If you are the right person, are you going to know if, for example, you're a company looking to hire some engineers from Andela, right? Are you able to see what you want, on the first page that you open this, right? Yes, this is for companies, right? Or hire talent, something like that. So this is maybe all the information that I want, right? So without going, any further, I can see this is what we do. This is what makes us different. This is our process. This is how it goes. Maybe I'm more interested in the process. So we have like number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5. So this is the whole experience. Look, I know what I'm looking for, but just looking without even thinking, just looking at the page, I know, oh, this is how you start. You understand the talent needs, and then they find matches, in the Andela network, and then they review the candidates together with you, and then, you're done. I mean, the process is done, right? So this is one of the examples, right? So when you, to create that, how do you start, right? How do you start creating a user experience, which is going to feel perfect for your user, right? First of all, is to answer a few questions, right? You answer, what is this site going to be doing, or what is this application going to be doing, right? And why do we need this website or this application, right? And then if you maybe have, let's say, for example, you are a university, right? We're going to look at other universities, right? Let's say, for example, you are a private university, you look at other private universities. Let's say ULK, look at the website, right? UOK, look at the website. Mount Kenya, for example, right? You look at the website and then you see what they're doing and see if you can actually maybe, oh, they have a portal. Can I also have a portal? So I need a portal at this time, right? You need to understand all those things. What are my competitors doing, so that you can you can be ready for what people need, right? If you find something that they don't actually need, you can scratch it off, but at least have an idea of, how things are being done in the market. If you want to innovate, you can innovate. If you have your own way of understanding it, but you need to also know what they're doing so that people don't diss you about not doing something that everyone else is doing, okay? And then lastly, you need to know who is going to be looking at your website or your application if you're building it, okay? Why am I doing this? Or why am I building this website? Who is going to be using this website? Are they kids? Then we need, maybe teddy bears all around the page, right? We need to use all these warm colors and, many colors, green, purple, red, whatever. That is going to be inviting for the kids because they like colorful stuff, right? Are they women? For example, we assume that women like pink and all these colors that, look nice, right? And you can give it a theme of, make it more inviting for women, right? Optimize for that. Is this website for maybe entrepreneurs? They need to find, even the fonts, not even just the colors, even the fonts, even the imagery on the website. They need to be reflecting the vibe that you want to put off. For people who are going to be visiting the site. Yeah, maybe mature people, they are looking for this, they're looking for business, they're looking to do business, but it's going to be different if you are building a website for a nursery school or a fashion business, right? Let's say if you're building a website for, let's say, Martians. I don't know if Martians has a website. Martians, right? I didn't know they had a website. Let's see what they have, right? So this website is going to be different from a website by maybe University of Kigali. UOKACRW, right? Let's see the difference, right? So very clean, very simple, to the point, matching the theme, right? So this is our site. This is our site. This is our first page. Let's see the first page for University of Kigali. This is what they have, right? Maybe this is what they're doing. Okay. So they want you to look at all these things. They want the logo to stand out, but look at motions. It's just there. And what they want you to see is, people wearing their clothes, right? Models. Okay. And the materials that they're using to create all these textiles, right? All these things. So you need to understand people are going to be looking at your website and know what you give them. Okay. So after answering all these questions, right, we have around 15 minutes for the slides to end, and then we'll code something real quick. Okay, so after you answer these questions, you go on the drawing board. Okay, you do something called wireframing. You take a pen and a paper, you draw out your UI. These are called wireframes. Okay, so you can do wireframes with a pen and a paper, with a pencil and a paper, even on a whiteboard with a marker. You can use a lot of tools. Okay, so one of the tools that I can show you is called balsamic wireframes. Right? So balsamic wireframes, you can use that. You can use okay, maybe I won't be able to say this, but you create something that looks like this. Empty boxes, because this is even what you write with a pen, right? So this is for an image, some text is for a text, then you come up with something like this. So this is going to be maybe an attendance list, for example, and maybe some imagery here. I don't know, something like that. So, or maybe Google, this is maybe one for Google, okay? So we have an input box, we have 2 buttons, and we have our logo here. Google, I didn't say Google, right? Anyways, so this is what you do with something like balsamic, but you can also use a pen and a paper and draw it on the paper and come up with a few screens. So you start at the beginning, draw everything out, okay? And let me see. As you can share. All right, awesome. So wireframes. Okay, the process is called wireframing, and the product is called wireframe, right? A wireframe. Okay, so basically what you do with a wireframe is you give a layout to the page. Okay, so this is basically the general layout. So we have a header section, we have a navigation bar, we have, let's say, some content here. Sorry, we have a sidebar, a content, and maybe a footer. But this is the generic website. For example, we have a website. Usually, we use these on the daily for like news websites, business websites, blogs, and all that. So we have a website name, we have adverts. If you, let's say, for example, at Igihe, you can see, maybe ads by Airtel or Tecno that they're advertising, right? And we have some, actual news, for example, and there's maybe news categories here, in the sidebar, and then we have the footer at the bottom, right? So these are the generic layouts that we would have for our website. Okay, sorry, right? But then how do you create all of this, right? So I'm going to show you one of the tools, after creating wireframes or, just the sketches. Let's say Figma. So there's a tool called Figma. Usually you would hire a designer to do, to create the designs for you. But using this tool, it's going to allow you to, create the designs very easily. Okay. Let me hope it's not going to take long. But this is awesome. Yeah. Okay, let me show you, for example, one of the two of the UIs that I have here. So basically, what you do is design the pages, right? So this is an internal tool that we're building, and it's going to help us to track something internally, right? So we build it using this tool called Figma, and we have different screens. Okay, so then the way you do this is, let me open this in edit mode. The way you do this is by just creating all these boxes as we saw with Flexbox. So you can just let me maybe add let me maybe add a page and show you. So we can create a frame here. So create a frame. Then on a frame we put, maybe, for example, if you wanted to create that generic UI, right? Let's say, for example, we have a navigation bar at the top. Okay, and you can put this at the top, and you can do whatever we want with this. In terms of colors, you can do colors. The whole spectrum is on our fingertips, right? So you have this page, and we can. This is just a box. Okay, so you can create another box, maybe here. Maybe this is going to be an image. Right, you can put an image here, and maybe you can put some text here. Right, let's say hello world. Okay, so we can increase the text, font, something like this, font size. We can align it. This is how you actually create the UI after drawing it on the board. This is how you do it, and you can maybe even copy this and maybe create a photo. So maybe there's something at the top, and then we have some hero text, and we have an image. Maybe it's a startup. Maybe you have a logo somewhere here, and the page is done. Okay, so this is what you do, and you use this tool to create the UI, the user interface that you want, right? So some of the pages that we have here, for example, is this page, and it's just icons and text and colors and some images. Okay, so this is basically how you do it. So you use a tool like Figma. Okay, so after creating something like this, right, where do you go? You start using your HTML and CSS after having what we usually call a mockup. And a mockup is just a design. Let's say something like this. Okay. How do we, let me see. Let me see if we can find a simpler, we can find a simpler challenge that's going to be very, very small that we can build based on Teta's description, right? Something like this, for example. Okay, so how do we create a card like this? Okay, so can we use Flexbox to create something like this, right? Like this card, right? So we can actually do just that. And that's when you start using those tools. And those tools include CSS Flexbox, include CSS Grid, and that's how you usually do things. So we're going to focus on CSS Flexbox, and we're going to be, creating something very, very soon. In 6 minutes, that's when we start creating. Okay, so as you create the design, you need to keep in mind, that there are principles that we need to be following. For example, you can't, use maybe different font sizes, one sentence, all those things, right? So you need to make sure that, the user have what they need when they see the screen, right? If they need to buy something, show them the buy button, the buy now button, right? That's why they're there, right? Remind them that they have to buy. Okay. So you need to make sure that they know, they can see and they can do whatever they want or what they came to do on your app. Okay. If they're there to play, for example, if it's an online gaming website, make sure that they're able to see the play now button, right? So you need to, this is why you need to make sure that, the user's needs are in consideration whenever you build a web page or, an application, whenever you're designing or creating a UI, a user interface, make sure that all that is covered so that they can have a good experience, right? So not going to be talking about user experience a lot, but, whatever we talk about, in user interface, it's going to be tying in, some user experience, behind the scenes. Okay, so make sure you are consistent. Make sure that you're to the point. Everything is clear, and all your messages are being, given by just looking at your design. Whatever you have on the page is clear, consistent, and people are able to see what you have right there. Okay, so give feedback. So when someone hovers over a button, make sure that maybe you change the color, just maybe ever so slightly. Let me show you, for example. So that is feedback. So I'm hovering over these links and I'm getting some feedback here. And even if when it doesn't open, for example, if I'm on the about page, even if it doesn't open this drop down, the color is also changing. Make sure that you give feedback that people know that you're, for example, you're hovering over this. That's some feedback right there. That's what I mean by feedback. Give feedback to the users when they do some actions. They delete, they just hit the red button to delete something. Make sure that they get maybe a confirmation message. Are you sure you want to delete this? Once they delete it, show them a notification, some feedback that the item has been deleted. Okay, that's what I mean by feedback. And then make sure that people know, if it's buy now, don't make buy now the button to sell. I mean, make sure that you have intention in the elements you put on the page, and you can actually just Google user interface design principles, and you see all of these in great detail. Okay, make sure that people can recognize that, okay, so this is a logo and this is a button, and this is a link, right? There are things that are usually meant to mean things, right? If you want to see a box and some text, no, it's a button. Make sure that you make it a button, right? Next up, elemental hierarchy. It's, how things are, if you, for example, we know this is a title, we know this is a list. Okay, make sure that it stays like that. Make sure that you don't start with a list and end with a title. It doesn't make sense, right? You can start with a list and end with the title of the list below the list. Okay, so make sure that your hierarchy is, on point. Keep everything simple, and keep your users in control. Make sure that if they want to say yes or no, for example, if they want to delete something, they might delete, they might click it accidentally. Make sure that you give them the option to not delete the item that they're going to be regretting later. Okay, so make sure that they feel in control. That's what I mean by, make sure that they feel in control. And once they feel in control, they're going to stay on your website longer, and they're going to do what you want them to do with your website or application. All right, we have 1 minute left, and we'll go to building. Okay, so I have, when I was saying keep things simple, I mean, don't overuse images like this. These are examples, typical examples of things that you should not do. Don't overuse images and colors, like this. This is abuse, okay? And this is the overuse of the text. Look at this. It's I don't even know if the English has the word for it. It's unspeakable, right? Like no, you cannot do this, right? So when you build your UI, make sure that they're simple. I'm going to give an example. Look at this website and look at the website by Motions. Where's Motions? Here, right? So it's to the point. You know what we want. If you have more content, put it in a drop down. Group things together. Create other pages. Everything doesn't have to be on one page. We have one picture, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? They're not overusing them, and they have so many pictures, right? If you visit, maybe for example, their Instagram, they have so many images, but they're not cramming them here. They have a lot of stories to tell. They don't have a book on the homepage, right? You don't have to tell everything. Tell the most important things. Keep things simple and concise, to the point. All right. Don't overuse text. Don't overuse images. Keep things in moderation. That's what I would say. Cool. So this one I'm going to talk about at the end. But basically it's how you present your UI. For example, look at this and this. So this looks okay. If you're starting out, this might look okay. But once you start to take take notice of the small details, you see that you don't need to write name. For example, this lady is called Erin. You don't need to say name, Erin Linford. No, job title, customer support, email. That email, phone. You put the phone there. We know this is a person because there's an image. Data, please mute your mic so that we can hear each other. All right. So we know that this is a person that we're talking about, and we know this by looking at this. She's customer support. That's her job, and this is her email. You can tell an email by just looking at it, without saying, "Oh, this is the email," and then you put the email there, right? It doesn't have to be like that. So you see, this is clean, simple, straight to the point. Same design, but this is a bit bold, and then this is there's a highlight of the color, and then to show that email is not that important. We're talking about the person. If you want to contact them, you still can see it, but it doesn't steal the importance. So the name is what's more important. what they do is next step in the importance, then these the contact you can, they're less important, but they're still there. Okay, so this is good design, this is bad design, right? Same for this card for the house listing. Let's say this is Airbnb or tuikodeshare.com or something like that, right? A website that maybe one of you is going to build called Tuikodeshare, right? Maybe it's not built yet, but once you're going to build your Tuikodeshare, look at something like this. Okay, so if you write bathrooms 3 and or another one does puts an icon of a bath, a bathtub, or just a shower, and they just write 2 bathrooms, right? Another one says bedrooms 2, and then another one put there bed, an icon, and says something like this. This is going to make much more sense in terms of the design. It's literally the same design, but this looks better, more professional, more mature than this. So those are the small details. I have a game that is going to train you to do things like to differentiate the good and the bad UI designs, which in turn results into bad UX, which is bad user experience. And that game is called Can't Unsee. All right. And let me share the link with you actually right now. Let me see if I can get it here. All right. So it's called Can't Unsee .space. All right. Can't Unsee .space. I was supposed to talk about it at the end, but let me put it here. So you will have 2 cards and you choose the most correct card between the 2. So as you can see, bad use of colors, color and contrast is off, too much going on here. The icons are not on point. And so I choose this one. So select the design that is most correct. It's this. Why? Description will appear here. So once you compare, you see what's going on. Okay, so let me show you the next one, for example. So the design that is most correct. So they're going to be showing you all of this. So it's the same one, but one is off, another one is correct. Okay, so you're going to have to notice things like this. This has no importance. It needs to be a bit bolder because this is bolder than the name itself. There's more space here, right, compared to this. So this is the most correct design, right? And you're going to see, the icons, the fonts, the reason this is most correct. So the icons, the fonts, and the shapes. The shapes are these icons. So you're going to keep playing this game until you are good, right? And you are earning some points here, right? So just shared the link with you guys in the chat, and I'll share it on Discord. Let me actually do it now. And as we move to the next part of today's session, the last 20 minutes, where we build out something real quick. So Can't Unsee, play the game. By all means, make sure that you get the most points and you understand why. Don't just play for points. Play for seeking knowledge and understanding better UI, UX. Cool. Right, let me share my Chrome again. And this is it. Yeah. So the last things to keep in mind, a few things. First, use as few colors as you can. Just choose a few colors that you're going to be using. So it's usually called the primary color. So for example, here we have blue. This is a primary color. The secondary color might be there, maybe this gray. We have black and we have white, right? This is all a shade of white. This is a lighter gray that we can use as white. Okay, so once you have that, it's called a palette. That's what a palette is. It's just a few colors that you're going to be using. So we have the primary color, usually secondary color, a highlight color, then black and white, right? You can have different shades of black and white. If you don't know where you, okay, I'll talk about a hierarchy of content components or themes on the page, but we talked about them already. So, and then font sizes. So we'll see relative font sizes maybe later. So this is this calls for not using these strict values like pixels, right? You can use pixels, but it's better if you use things called ems and rems. They are called relative font sizes. So we don't have maybe enough time today, but please make sure that you ask about these things on Women in Tech. Make sure that our friends are helping us. Solange, Bayface, or your TTL, right? Ask them what's the difference between pixels and ems. But don't just ask. Ask after maybe playing with those things, right? You need to make sure that you're curious and you are asking questions just and not just for asking because you want to understand something. So if you have something you want to understand about maybe font sizes, ask, first do some research. If you don't understand, then ask in the channel or ask your TTL. All right, so this is it. If you want to choose, maybe I'll share it later. I think colors, color palettes. Yeah, all right. I was looking for color hands. Yeah, so you can use color hands to find the palette. So basically, this is what I was talking about. This is the primary, secondary, third, fourth, right? So these are the palettes of colors that go well together, right? Yeah. So color hand.co. Yeah. I'm sure you can Discord it as well. Right. Cool. That is it, and we're going to be doing creating something very, very basic, by just putting everything together. So we're going to skip the design part, and we're not going to talk about specificity. It's not very important. Yes, it is important, but we can do without it tonight. Great. Maybe you can ask about specificity later, and we'll talk about it. But it's all about basically how the styles get implemented by the browser, right? Does the browser maybe prioritize styles written inside of the HTML? Does it prioritize styles that are coming outside? What if you import different style sheets? Which one is going to come first? All those things. So those you can ask or you can research about. But what we're going to be doing right now is to find some text editor. Let me see if we can find that. And we're going to code something real quick. So Theta, I'm going to need your help again. We're going to choose the design we're going to work on. So you choose. Okay, let me see if I have. I think I have a design here. Locally. Let me. Order summary. Yeah. So we have order summary here. Okay. So we have order summary, and let me share the screen. All right. So we have our design here. And I'll ask Theta if this is convenient for her, if we can actually use this. So if we create something like this, are you going to be happy about it?
Yeah, I will be so happy.
All right, cool. So this is basically it, and this is the active state. So when you hover over these things, this is how they're going to look. So we have a few minutes, and we're going to try to get to this in however fast we can get there. Okay. Yeah, let's do just that. So let me open this actually. Let me open this in VS Code so that we have all the elements there. Cool. So let's open this in VS Code. It's just a folder with some files. Some files are going to be just the text. Let me see if I can share VS Code. No, let me share the whole screen. All this stuff. All right. So we need VS Code here. Okay. Can you see my screen? Can you see VS Code?
Yes.
All right. Cool. So all we have is these images. We have icons, and then we have the designs. Okay? So we're going to try to create the design, this, and we have the this image. We have this image as well. So they are here in the images. So we have the icon, for music, and then we have the pattern in the background. So basically, maybe to visualize that, you can open this and see the images that we have. So we have this image for music, this icon, and we have this this illustration, right? And we have the background, and we have this one is for mobile. So it's basically this and this and this that we're going to use to create this. Okay, so this icon we have, this one we have, and this one in the background we have. Okay, so we're going to just create this and this text. Okay, so let's go do just that. Okay, so we have our index.html, and all we have in our index.html, we're going to open it in the browser with live server. We did this so many times. I'm not going to go through that again. So we open that, it opens in the browser. This is what we have. It's just the text right here. And let me just comment this out. Cool. So, no. Okay, so we have our text. We have, it says order summary. Okay, no problem. No problem. Give me a second. All right. All right, cool. So I'm looking for, okay, so I wanted to actually get, this text. Okay, so we have the order summary. We have, this is our first text. It's, at the top. Let me see if I can get it. So we have it here. It says order summary. So we can make this actually like an H1, right? So we have an H1, maybe a P tag, and then maybe an H2, another maybe P tag, and then this is a link, then this is a button, and then another button, right? So that's what we're going to be creating, okay? So for that, let's create our HTML. So we have H1, says order summary. Just going to first write all of them here. We have a P tag here. I don't want to lose the formatting of the text. So we have our P tag, then we have our annual plan. So this can be like an H2. Then this H2 can come here. Then this can be a P tag as well. So this P tag can actually come down here and change. This one is an A tag. It's an anchor tag. I can make it blank. No. Sorry. An anchor tag. Just an anchor tag going to be dead, and it's going to say the word change. Okay, and then sorry, I'm doing this so that I don't lose the formatting will maybe improve the HTML later. So proceed to payment, this is a button, but this button, it doesn't submit a form, so we can make it an anchor tag as well. Maybe give it a class of CTA, right? Right, CTA, just CTA, okay? CTA is usually called call to action, right? So call to action, and we can put this text inside of here. Okay, so this one is also going to be another link. It doesn't submit a form, so we don't make it a button, but it's a like button. So we make it an A tag, and it's going to be, we can maybe make it, instead of saying CTA, I can make this BTN as button. Then I can make this a BTN a button, and then it also has a white transparent. Let me make it white. Let me make it transparent. Transparent. Okay. Cool. So it's a button and it's transparent. Okay. So this is also a anchor tag or a link tag, and we have our content like this. So we have our content right here. If you open, so it's all of this here, and if you open, we're going to see that we have, our basic building block for this. And what we need to do is actually put here, we are forgetting one thing here. So this is grouped together because this is grouped together and this is grouped together. So we can maybe divide them in sections, for example. Okay, and we have our thing right here. Okay, so maybe we can also have above other summary. Maybe you can group all of these in a card. Okay, so I can say you can say it can be our main section. No, it can be let's call it an article. An article is going to have it's going to go down here. So this article is can have a class of so I'm just thinking here. So we can have a class of order summary, okay, and the body is just the body. Okay, so we only have that one section, right? So we can make this an article, and we can make this part right here, a header section in this article. So we can make it a header instead of writing div. It's the header of that section, right? And then this, but inside of the header, we can have this image of that, this image or this one right here. Okay, so this image here can be inside here, right? Inside of the header, right? So the header section has an image. The source is basically called images. Images, illustration here. Right, cool. So here, image. Oh, this header image, right? So right, so we have it here as well. So what we are left with is this icon here. So this icon right here. Okay, so it's we have this here, and this here. So we can make it one item, another item, another item, and this can be like the parent. Okay, so this is let's say plants. Let's call this let's call this is it the footer? No. So we can call this the footer of this section because maybe what it is. But we can maybe find better, we can make better decisions in terms of naming all these. Here I can put here an image. I'm just looking for images, and then we're looking for icon music. Okay, and it's a music icon. and it's now part of this, right? So it's here, so you can see it, but I'm putting like borders around this. So I'm just writing HTML, yes, okay. And here, these two buttons, I can make them, can group them together. Oh, this change is also inside of this, right? Because it's this, and change. Okay, so annual plan, these two are also together. So this actually can be called a section, or we can even make it a div. It doesn't matter. So, right, but we just want to group them together, right? Let's see. Let me give it a class of plans, right? Because it's a plan, annual, or I don't know, subscription or something like that. But I don't have time for better names. What we can actually do is move on to this section of, I think we have everything. Okay, these two buttons, right? So we have these two buttons. You can actually group them together as well. Call them, you can make it a section as well. And this section can have a class of maybe buttons or call to actions. It's a class of buttons or CTAs or call to actions. Let me just stick with buttons. So we have our HTML right here. So this is our article, this is our content here, and we're going to write some CSS and try to come up with something which looks like this. Okay, so where do we start? Right, let me first see in the chat if we have some comments in the chat. Where other platforms that support interface design apart from CSS? What do you mean, Agnes? What do you mean by that? Can you unmute and tell us? What do you mean other platforms? CSS is not a platform. CSS is a language. What do you mean? Please unmute and tell us. Okay. If you're not going to talk, we're going to just move along. All right. Cool. So now that we have our HTML, we have our content here, we have everything that we need. We're going to first, we're going to continue with the design. So when you're going to design something like this, just like the Teta was curious enough to ask, how do you go about, deciding where to start? Do you start with this button? Do you start with this one? Do you start with the background? Where do you start? So usually it doesn't matter as long as you stick with it. So I choose to design from outside in. So I start at the top, going down, and outside coming in. Okay. So here, for example, I'll start with the background. I put a background on this page. Sorry about the dog. I put the background on this page first, and then I'll design everything on top of it. So I need to put this background on the page. But what if I don't know how to put a background on a page? What do I do? So usually for me, I'll start with something called CSS reset. We don't even have a CSS file, right? So first of all, I create a CSS file, right? We don't have style. So we'll write another one, a link, a CSS link, style.css. Okay, save. We don't have this style.css, but then we're going to be, creating this file. So we can click on it. Let me create file. So this is our style.css, and I will start with the CSS reset. I write star, and then reset everything. So star is to target, to select everything. So last time we looked at CSS selectors, but star selects everything in that HTML file. So everything is, we're going to just remove this margin that you see here and the padding around some elements. So we're going to reset the margins and the paddings and what we call box sizing. So padding 0, margin 0, and then we'll do box sizing, border box, and you can ask what this is later, but we're not going to worry about that much. Let's see if it's working. Yes, it's working. The paddings and the margins are done around this content of the page. Okay, but what if what are we going to do now, right? So we have our index.html here, and we need to select our body, because our body needs to have the background that we have, the pattern that we have. But how do we go about that? Okay, so we don't know about we don't know how to put a background in the back, at the back of a page, right? How do we do it? So we come here and say, just Google things, right? Image as background CSS. How do we do that? CSS background image property. All right. So we look for MDN, or look for we look for MDN, or we look for W3 schools. Those are the best places to look, right? So basically what we write is background image, and then we give it a URL. So this URL could be, is actually the link to where the image is. So we come here in styles, we select body, just like we saw, and then we say background image right here. Then we say URL. URL is the link. Then the link is going to be the link to the place of the image. So the image is actually inside of images. You go to images, and then you go to background desktop. Right, so this is the image that we want in the background. Let's save and see if it worked. Okay, so this is our page. Where's that page? Right, so this is our background. It looks, looks bad, but it's there. It's our background. That's what we're working with. So as you can see, once the page can't hold an image, it will. Once the image is smaller and it can't fill the whole space, the CSS, the browser, will actually repeat it. So we have a property here that we can add. You can say background repeat. Just say no repeat, and this is what we'll get. Right, very close to what we have here. Okay, but you can see that the image is actually white here, and what we can do is say, okay, background color, and background color, we can change it so that maybe this can change as well. Okay, so let's see if background color would do it. Let's say background color. Let's put there let's say aqua, and see if it's going to change, right? So this is going to change. So this is the only pattern that we have. The rest is gray, right? So we need to find this color right here. Okay, so the colors are usually given, and you've chosen them. You have a palette, and we have our color. Actually, it's pale blue, very pale blue. We'll see which one it is. So I have my colors here, but just for the sake of being quick, so I'll put the color here, and let me save. And this is what I'm going to get. But this might be too bright based on what we actually have here. Oops. Okay, it's not visible again. But we know what we want. It's a bit darker. Okay, so we can actually use this other color. Let's say saturated blue. No, this one actually. This one might work. Okay, so let's put the color here. Right, so this is the color, and if you go back, it's not perfect, but it might be doing it. So we have a blue top, and we have our white bottom. So we are starting at the back, and then we're coming back, at the front. Okay, So now what we need to do is to group this together, give the background, make it look like the design, right? Make it look like this. And since it's 8 already, I'm going to ask you for like 15 minutes. We might be done very soon. So anyone who's on the call and is not interested can drop off, but it will be sad. So I'm going to ask you for 15 more minutes so that we can finish this. Okay, cool. So yeah, so that's number 2. So the background is almost done. Let's work on our other card. And we start outside coming in. So start at the back in the background, and we're coming inside of the design. Okay. So to remind you of the design we're working towards is this, right? So we have our background and we have our other card. So we are going to put this other card in the center of the page. Okay. So we already know how to do that. We're going to create a flex. We're going to use Flexbox. Okay. So first of all, we're going to give Flexbox, the body a display of flex, right? So display of flex is going to change things. There's only one item inside of that. Okay. So the one item inside of body is this article, and it's not going to be showing anything else. So what is going to happen is we can now position this article, this container in the center of the screen. So what we'll need to do is to give it justify content, the things we've been doing with our frogs earlier. Okay, so we've been placing frogs on the lily pad. So now our lily pad is the center. We want to put this item in the center. So this other box is our frog. Okay, so we're going to put it in the center. So it's going to be justify content center, if you guessed it. So justify content center, right? So you can already see it, but it's not in the dead center. Why? Because this is longer. So if you look at this is the longest line. You can see that this space here is equal to this space here. Okay, and that is perfect. That is what we want. Okay, so now for us to be able to visualize this, we're going to have to see what is outside. So it's in the center, but what is outside? So we can give it a background of white so that we can visualize it like this. Okay, so we're starting at the outside. So we're going to give it to select our article. Article has order summary class. How do we select a class? We write a dot. We have text in the chat. All right. What is another way to style content other than using CSS? There's none. Unless if you're not from the earth, or you have some more advanced technology, CSS is the way you style your HTML. All right, it's the style language of the web, right? So in CSS, again, as we're talking about CSS, we select classes by using a dot. We have order summary, and we want to have it have a background color of that color is white. Let's say FFF. So hashtag FFF means white. Right? This is called hex code. Right? So sorry. Yeah. So let's visualize this. Right. So we have our white background, right? But we want this to also be in the center vertically. Okay. So what we can do is just align items this time center. Right? What do we have? Nothing. Why? Because there's this page doesn't have a height. Okay, so we can give it a minimum height. So to visualize that, we can look at our body by adding a border. So you can say border 2 pixels dashed red, and we're going to see a red line around our content. So it's in the dead center. So we need to give it a height. Okay, so from the top to bottom, at least when you open the page. Okay, so it's called mean height. So we're going to give it a minimum height of 100 VH. So it's okay, viewport height. Okay, so it's going to be now in the dead center. This is what we want. So our red border is going to be around all of this. Okay, so this is cool. This is nice. But what's next? Okay, let me this icon. Okay, so we have this in the dead center now, right? If you remove justify content, you just go at the top, but in the center. Let's visualize that. So we justify content center and actually get rid of this border. It's going to go at, just be full height like that. Okay, so we don't want that. Yes, we can want that, but it's not what we really want. Okay, so what we really want is to justify the content, to align the items in the center as well, just like so. Okay, so now what we need is some, we need this to be, smaller. So we need to give it a width. A width is the length from left to right, side to side. Okay, so we can actually give this a width. The order summary width, it could be let's say 20 rams. Let's see how big it is. Right, so not too big. Let's say 30. Right, maybe a bit bigger. Okay, so let's say 28. Right. So 28 is around that. It's actually like 29. All right, I think 28 works better. Right, so it's going to be the width of 28 RAM. And we can actually give this image the same width as well. So this image is called it's header image. I can give it a class, or we can select any image inside of the header section. Okay, so how do we do that? You can say header, get any image inside of there, right? And give it a width of, let's say if you give it 40 rams, right? So 40 rams will be bigger like that, right? So we need to give it the same width so that we can work with measures that we want. Actually, we can do 30 rams and do 30 rams here so that we round things up. So you can see that it's perfectly there, exactly there, right? But this border is also a bit curved, right? We have a curve around here, right? So this is called border radius. The other summary is going to have a border dash radius. Border radius, let's give it 10 pixels, right? So 10 pixels, let's see, right? So 10 pixels is there. But then in the background, this image is going out, right? So what we can do to stop that from happening, can say overflow hidden. Then it's going to cut this image, and you see that this is cut. I can actually exaggerate it to make it 16 pixels, and you're going to see this nice curve around this image, and you can already see that is what's happening here. So there's this image, and it's curved. It's curved on the top left, top right, but at the bottom it's straight as an arrow like this. Okay, this is what we want, right? And we need some space around these, these elements. So we need to add some padding around these elements, but we don't want to have some padding around this image. So what we can do is, let's see, what's the next one? So the next one is H1. So we're going to give our H1 like a margin top or a padding top. Okay. So we're going to have a padding top, our H1. So we're going to select our header again. Inside of the header, we have an H1, just to make sure that it's the only one that gets the padding top. So padding top, you can give it like 5 rems and see how it looks, right? So it's exaggerated. So we can do now something like 3 rems or 2 rems. Let's do 2 rems and see, right? Okay, just give me a second. I think I'm out of power. All right, cool. No problem. Cool. So we're going to go on the next part. So this one has a padding top of 2 rems, but we can also put, let's see how it looks at the bottom. So at the bottom, we can add like a smaller padding. We can add like, this is padding top. You can actually do this. You can do actually, just so it's easier, we can actually do something different. So we can actually add yeah. Okay, let's just do padding bottom so that it doesn't we can do 0.5 rem, just like so. Let's see how it looks. Okay, let's do 1 rem. So this is how you work with this. So you can even do 0.8 and see how it looks. So you see that it's up a bit. So you can actually do 1 rem now and see, okay, yeah, now we have all the summary there. Okay, so we would need these things to be in the center as well. Okay, so center, yes, everything is in the center. Okay, so what we can do is to check our header. You can give it we can actually style our header itself. So header, and header can be, we can actually do display, we can actually do Flexbox as well. So display flex, and we look at how it looks. So everything is now kind of messed up. So what we can do is, oh, no, we don't want to do display flex so that our image stays in place. So we can actually do text align center, and this will put our text in the center. It's as easy as that. And then we can do header again, select the p tag inside of the header so that we are very specific about that. And we can just do padding, but left and right. So top and bottom we can do, so top and bottom can do 1 rem. And then let's see, that's how it looks though. That's how it looks. We have 1 rem. So, okay, so we can actually do, so we have 1 rem here. We can do 0.5 here, and we can actually do, so 0.5 here as well. So 0.5 rem, top and bottom, and we can do 3 rems left and right. Okay, so now what we'll get is something like this. Okay, and we can actually exaggerate it as well, but we don't want to do that. So actually our paragraphs and our text have a softer black, but we'll take care of that later. Okay, so we are coming close to something like this. We just have to change the color here. So we need to put this in the center as well. So this is another element. So this element is called, let's see how it looks now. This element is called, let me see. This element is, yeah. So this element, we have the header, we have the footer. So this element is called a footer. So this footer, so we can do, what we can do is to start select it. So we have footer, and this footer can have a padding of 3 RAMs. So top left, bottom right. So 3 RAMs, but 3 is going to be a lot. So we can do 1 RAM, top and bottom, and then 3 RAMs left and right. So it's going to look something like this, right? And then we can give it a border so that we can visualize it for now. So border, we can do 2 pixel, 1 pixel dashed red, so that it's visible. So we have our footer here. So we can give it a display of flex so that we can align things, one on the left, another one in the middle, and another on the right. Okay, so real quick, display flex, and display flex is going to do just that, and we can just do justify content real quick. All right, so this justify content, justify, it's not justify, it's justify content. It's going to be, we can just do space between so that it puts some space between these elements, okay? So space between, and this is what we were doing with the frogs earlier. So space between, some space between the elements, okay? And you can already see it, so, okay? So now we need to also align them in the center so that this change comes in the center of this box, okay? We can just do that by writing align items center, and inside of the footer, everything is going to be centered perfectly like that, okay? So now we can take care of this, and then we'll change the colors later. Okay, so let's take care of this link right here. It says change, and this is actually how it looks. Right, it actually looks like that, just like that. There's nothing to change. All right, so what we need to do is to maybe add this together. There's more space between this. Yeah, so we can actually tweak this by changing the spacing between these elements. Yeah, this is basically, or grouping these together, but this will be a lot of, we'll have to tweak a lot of things. Let's just get these buttons to look almost like this. And because we are almost out of time, and maybe I can leave you to take care of the colors. I can share with you all the code that I wrote, and you can actually go ahead and tweak it so that it looks exactly like this by changing the font color and maybe the font size, and then also this element right here. Okay, so as you can see, there's also a background that we're going to have to add. Okay, so we'll remove the padding and add the margin. All right, cool. So with that, we can just go to the button. So our first button, so cool. We have a class of BTN that we created, and BTN will have we have a background color of blue, but we have the blue in the style guide. This blue is HSL to report. Okay, so we have this. This actually can be RGB or X code. Just click here and it becomes X like that. So okay, let's skip that because the footer is not done. Right, so we have the BTN. So our BTNs have this background, but then they are they're inside of the container called buttons, and buttons can have a display of flex, and it can have a margin, and it can actually have a padding of 1 RAM. I gave everything 3 RAMs. I can have 1 RAM, 3 RAM as well, just like everything else, just like so. And then we can actually do, they are not side, they shouldn't be side to side. They should be, the flex direction is going to change. So flex direction. Okay, I can actually do flex flow so that I add, it's the direction is going to be raw, and then raw, and then the flex wrap is going to be no wrap. Right, so it's going to be, no, it's not raw, it's column, because it's raw by default. It's column, no wrap. Okay, so these are our buttons, but they don't look like buttons yet, but I'm going to change just that. Okay, so actually I can give this, can use this to style the buttons. Then I can add the colors. Okay, let me maybe make this primary button, and I can do transparent again. So I have transparent background color. You can actually do transparent and color of the text. What do we have for the color here? I need the image. Where's the image? Is the design. The text is this black. So this black black color is this. It's actually the dark blue. It's not the black. Right. So it's this dark blue, and it can actually be the color for this, right? So this is the dark blue color, and it's our black color, right? And you can visualize the items like this. Let's justify them to put them in the center, right? So we can do in the buttons, and just do justify content. It's actually align items now. Align items center. It's going to put them in the center, vertically like that. And that's all we basically need. And buttons, inside of the buttons, we have the background color of the primary button. But we don't have this applied to our primary button, which is proceed to payment. And then this one is going to be blue. And now we can style it. So this one can have the color of white, FFF, just like that. And you can have padding. No, we're going to have to style BTN again. So to make them look like colors, sorry, like buttons, we're going to style BTN, and BTN is going to have some padding. These are links actually we're styling. So you're going to have padding of 1 rem, 3 rems. Let's see how that looks. Just like that. And it's going to have a border radius. And it's going to be 15 pixels. Let's see how it looks. Too easy. Let's do 50 pixels. Perfect. Let's see if that's how it looks. No, that's not how it looks. Then you can still do like 5 or 10 pixels. I thought they were just rounded like that. 10 pixels. This is how they look. And maybe this padding is top to bottom is bigger. So we need to do padding of 0.5. Right, so 0.5, yes, and it's almost there, okay? But then what we need is to remove the, we're going to remove the line on the links, but the links only in the buttons. This link is going to stay looking like a link. Yeah, so these links, they are the BTN. I'm going to do text decoration. Text decoration is going to be none. The line is going to be gone like that. And this is perfect. And what we can do now is to make them hoverable, right? We're going to give some feedback. So when you hover over this, so you can select, all these buttons. No, can I actually do primary primary, and then hover, and then we can do background color. We're going to invert the colors. No, I can actually do background color to be a bit lighter. So I can do background color, you can make it a bit lighter. So we can do something like this, and it's going to work. Let's do this. If you hover over this, boom, you can see that you can hover over this and changes the behavior. Okay, so and then the cancel order. This is the transparent button. The transparent button. Let's copy this over. It's actually this that we're changing. It's not the transparent. The transparency, we can actually make this pitch black, right? Pitch black, going to have hashtag 000. It's going to be black. Okay, so when you hover over this, okay, you can see it. Let me maybe make it bold when you hover over it. Okay, so same color, then maybe make it blue. Yeah, we can make it. Let's make it blue and hover over that one, or make it red because it's cancel. All right. So color, make it maroon. Yeah, like that. So when you hover over it, oh no, sorry, it's hashtag hover. That's why it wasn't working. Okay, cool. Let's actually start with maroon. All right, maroon, cancel order. But then let's do black that we wanted. We wanted a set of things, so hashtag 00 or just black. We can do, yeah, so it's subtle, but you can see it, right? But we can do whatever we want for that. Like we saw last time, these are called pseudo state or pseudo classes. You can actually do font style bold, not blood, bold, like that. So once you do that, it's just going to be black, more black, and it's going to be bold. Or we can even do font weight so that it's easier. So we can do 700, and you can see, boom. So you could do something like that, and when you're going to cancel, you can just do that, right? But we can let's just do maybe 500. See how it looks. You don't want to exaggerate. It's already 500. Okay, 600. Right, you can already see that it can move. Okay, so this is maybe not what we want. So let's see the active state. Right, so when you hover over this, it's going to be like that, and originally it's going to look like that. Okay, so it's just the colors. So we can tweak the colors so that they look just like that. I think it's we use a saturated blue for the active one. Just that. And then for this, we can use our desaturated blue, which is perfect without changing the font weight, which is weird. Okay, so now we have this exactly like this. This is what I want. Okay, so basically what's remaining is just styling the footer, and I can leave it as a homework, and it's actually very easy to do and accomplish. Just we need to give it a background. We need to give this a background color and put this, give it a margin and reduce the paddings. Yeah, so you can just do maybe like 2 rems, maybe do some margin here, token button. So you can do maybe top 0, but we need some margin left and right. You can do 2 rems as well. So it's maybe like that. But then what we will be able to do with this is to add some background color. It can be that desaturated blue that we have here. So if you add this background color, I need a hashtag because it's a hex. So we have something like this, which is not what we want. So let's look at the style guide. We need this pale blue instead. This pale blue. You can put it here as the background, and it will look subtle just like that, just like we have in the design. But then we'll need to add no, it's actually very pale blue, not just the pale blue. It looks like white, and it's not that obvious. So footer, you add that, and then we look for the X, almost white, just like this. And as you can see here in the original design, you can see that it's here, just like so. Let's add some border radius actually on the footer. I didn't want to finish this, but you know, sorry, on the footer is going to be border radius. We can still do 15 pixels like we did on the buttons. Just like that. So you can see that this is almost like this, just that we don't have enough time to make it, you know, look smaller. But I think it's all about, you know, giving this smaller width, which is just by tweaking the other summary width, right? So we have 30 rems, we can make it 25 and make the image 25 rems as well. So it's just basically, sorry, yeah. So it's just basically playing with that, and you know, you see it looks smaller. And one thing that we didn't do is to actually do the right font family. Okay, so let's see, 35. Okay, I just stole 35 minutes of your time. I'm going to add only the font family from Google Fonts, and then we'll close. Then I'll take all the questions on Discord for the next like 10 minutes. Then we'll end everything. Okay, so we'll be done by 40 past 8. Okay, so basically what we need is to come here in the style guide and get the link to the font. So I can actually command click, and I'm going to get the fonts. All right, so I get 500, 700, and 900. It's called Red Hat display. So 500 is the medium, and then 700 is the bold, then 900 is the black, right? Then I do link. I can do link or import. So you can choose either. So this link you add in the HTML, this import you add in the CSS. So let's do this in the CSS, right? Because it's easier to get it in the CSS. So you can just put it at the top of our styles so that it loads. So you could load here at the top. We can actually add a comment to say import font, and then paste this here, and we are done. Okay, then in the body we can actually do font family, and you can just do Red Hat. Okay, let's see. It's actually red hat display sans serif. Okay, cool. So you can actually copy the whole line, paste it, and it will change to exactly look like that. So you can see that it just changes everything. Okay, so except for this color, we need to change the color of this p tag to look like this one, and we'll be done. Okay, so this could be a homework for you. I'll put this code on GitHub and share the link with you. And yeah, that's about it. So in 3 minutes, we can get questions on this chat, and the rest of the questions can be answered or asked on Discord. So I'll let maybe Tita had a question at the beginning. Oh, we actually are blessed with Summer's presence. Summer, hi. We're taking longer tonight, but no, we wanted to build this interesting audio summary. So, Tita, come in with your question, and then we'll move to question or comment, because you wanted to see how we could build something with just Flexbox.
I actually have no question for now.
All right. Anyone else in the chat? I mean, in the call? All right. So Teta, what do you think? Do you think Flexbox is powerful enough to create what you want?
No, it is not.
It's not
But
powerful
like,
enough. I mean,
yeah, it's not that powerful. But like, with more practice, I'll get like to know everything in CSS or things that I need. But this is okay.
All right, cool. So basically,
you made it so much. I hoped you made it seem so much easier than I thought. So
yeah, it is. It is.
One day
so
I'll be able to keep.
Yeah, so it's just all about thinking about the whole layout, not just one item. Because if you only focus on one item, you want to get it. So you need to think about everything, as a box. So you style the outer box, and then you just focus on one, you style it, and you just end up with something that is that looks like what you wanted in the first place. So this is what we came up with, and what we wanted to build was something like this, which is very close, but we didn't pay attention to the colors of this text, for example, and the font sizes, but the whole layout is actually the same. Okay, and the shadow here is not there, right? So those are the only things that we didn't do, but you can see that with a few more properties and understanding what you're building, you can actually create anything that you want with Flexbox. All the layout that we did here was done with Flexbox. All right, cool. Let's see in the chat. All right, we have, we have Brian as well. Okay, hi, Brian.
Hi.
Wait, is it Brian Mayo?
Yeah, it's me.
Okay. I didn't know, because we had Simon as well on the call, but I think Simon is a TTL, so I wanted to know it's Brian who. Thanks, Brian, for joining. We didn't have a lot of people on the call today, but we had a fun game at the beginning, so it was awesome. So for the rest of the questions, please, if you have a question, please drop it on Discord. I'll be able to help. And what I would recommend is to just focus on Flexbox. Don't worry too much about CSS Grid, because at the end of the day, once you understand one, you'll be able to understand the other. That's all for today. I hope that I have to see a lot of people may be telling us about the game that they finished. Please make sure that you finish the game if you want to play, and learn more about Flexbox. And I think that's about it for tonight. And I'll see you around on Discord. Yeah, Brand, do you have anything to say? Maybe like an announcement or anything?
No, not really. I just wanted to thank all of you for participating. Please let's. I hope all of us know our TTLs. That's also another thing. Please chat with your TTLs. Ask them questions if you have any questions. We have ladies who are TTLs, so if you feel more comfortable with them, can ask them. And then also another thing I'd like to ask is, do you guys, are you guys comfortable with this time, or do we move to around 4 to 6?
Yeah.
Or we continue like this? That's also something. I would like to know from you guys. But apart from that, thank you all for showing up. Keep up the spirit.